Rebel Force Radio presents
Star Wars Cantina.
Where are you going, Master?
For a drink.
Sorry about the mess.
You will never find a more wretched hive of scum and villainy. We must be cautious.
B-I-L-L. I'm trying my tattoo out.
Is this a tattoo you want or a tattoo that you're gonna get?
I might get it. I've been wanting to get it, but I can't figure out which way to do it. Doesn't really look very good, does it?
It looks like a clock with letters.
It's my daughter's name.
So we're talking tattoos with Carrie Fisher at C2E2 in Chicago. How you doing, Carrie?
I'm good. I'm eating as I'm talking, though.
Well, it's truly a pleasure to meet you, and I'm a big fan of your book, Wishful Drinking.
Well, thank you.
And it's not a book for the faint-hearted. That I gotta say.
Well, you know, you don't have to go through everything I went through, though.
Okay. I guess it would be tougher to go through it than to just read about it.
Well, what do I say? My life, if my life wasn't funny, it would just be true, and that's unacceptable.
Yeah, exactly. My favorite blurb about the book is what happens when two Hollywood stars mate. The answer is Carrie.
That's right.
And of course,
you get something a little bit like this.
I'm a big fan of Albert Brooks' mother. Is Debbie Reynolds anything like that character in real life?
Yeah, a little bit. She's certainly very fond of being in control. That's not an unusual trait.
Mm-hmm.
But she's a little more open-minded than that.
Yeah. And did she really prepped you for a career in Hollywood, didn't she?
Yeah. I mean, essentially, it was certainly not discouraged. I sort of like to discourage my daughter a little bit, or certainly tell her that if you go in show business as an actor, which I don't recommend, but whatever, then at least get another side job. Because you have to wait for people to give you a job when you act.
Right.
So it's better to also be in charge, on some other front.
Now, we were talking, Jason and myself were talking before we came in here about how wild it must have been in that house with people like Frank Sinatra showing up for parties.
I don't think I ever really saw Frank Sinatra.
No?
Oh, well, no, I didn't. I met him later on with my father and Paul Simon, my husband at the time.
That's right. Yeah, you were married to Paul Simon, too. I mean, your life is just incredible. And that's why Wishful Drinking is such a great book, is because you chronicle it, I guess, the best you could.
In terms of what I can remember based on the fact that I've had electroconvulsive therapy.
Yeah.
And, whatever cell damage I did with LSD.
Your mom thought you were addicted to LSD.
Picturing that as one of my... Although, I was picturing me shooting LSD.
Shooting it, yes.
But the other day, I actually met a girl that shot ecstasy.
Oh, my God.
Wouldn't that be a nightmare?
I wouldn't know.
Yeah, me neither.
That sounds a little too hardcore, even for Princess Leia.
Well, I used my coupon. I used everyone's coupon.
For someone who grew up, like Jimmy was saying, in a house of celebrity, and you've been around Hollywood your entire life, is it hard for you to imagine why folks would queue up in a line and wait all day, to meet someone who's, done some films that they really, really care a lot about?
There's not that many people that I would certainly wait to get a signature from. A part of me doesn't understand the phenomenon, and then I kind of do. I mean, it's sort of making a record of having contact with someone that, you like their work. Cary Grant was the one person that I liked, and that I liked that way.
Uh-huh.
And I would have gone to great lengths to meet him. But my mother actually had him call me, which is in the book, about my acid problem, because actually Cary Grant experimented with acid with his doctor, and I always tried to imagine, did the doctor do it with him? Did he get in like a hospital gown? I mean, how did it go down?
Who was his doctor? Timothy Leary?
No, but actually I knew Timothy.
Yeah.
But
Really?
I think they didn't really overlap, he and Timothy.
No. I wouldn't imagine at all. And of course, the big break for you, you're Princess Leia. Everyone knows it, and everyone loves it. And everyone in Hollywood auditioned for that role. Sissy
Men,
Spacek,
women.
Sissy Spacek, Cindy Williams, Jodie Foster.
Yeah, I think she did.
Which one of those three do you think would have been good at the role?
Jodie Foster.
Jodie Foster?
Yeah.
Now, what kind of quality does she have that would have
She's
lent
gay.
to She's gay.
Well,
No. She's out, right?
I think so.
Shoot.
I don't.
Well,
how
actually,
far
I'm
out,
kidding. She
but-
has a very strong personality.
Mm-hmm.
And, someone who seems quite capable and not very fearless.
Right, someone who could stand up to Harrison Ford.
Yes, that's
And
the job.
In Wishful Drinking, you do reveal that you had an affair with Harrison.
No, I don't.
Well,
Not really.
a little bit. Have you talked to Harrison since that?
Yeah, I just saw him on Oscar night at some party. And I asked him, you know how they have the reel on all the people that died?
Yes.
yeah.
I asked him if he would be in my death reel and if he would sing.
He would sing.
Yeah, that's just something I want. Well, because they did that thing with John Hughes. They brought out all these actors that had worked with
right.
him. So I figure, they'll bring out, depending on, of course, when it happens.
Yes.
There's a lot of people they can bring out. He's going to sing Melancholy Wookiee. No.
You have the two picked up. Have you ever heard Harrison sing? I don't think I've ever heard him sing.
No, and I don't think we're missing much.
Carrie, you were talking about Jodie maybe playing a decent Princess Leia. One of the kind of the lines you had to walk with that character is between the damsel in distress and sort of the tough broad.
Right.
Was that tough? Was there one direction you wanted to go as opposed to the other with the character? Or
Well, what I've found out as I've gotten older is nothing is just one thing. So if you want the character, I don't know. It's to play it just either damsel in distress. I think it's not damsel, not very much in stress. But if I am in stress, help me out here.
right.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't.
Right.
I don't think it works as damsel in distress very much.
Mm-hmm.
But you play it a little complex, right?
Right.
Well, what was cool about Princess Leia is she was clearly capable of handling herself.
Handling her stress herself, either with, opiates or LSD.
The things that were going on in that detention block are...
And actually, nothing much was going on in there.
Yeah.
They just had warm water, and Mark was acting so hard that he burst a blood vessel in his eye.
Now, that was in the scene in the trash compactor.
Trash compactor.
Yes.
So that they couldn't shoot. They shot the metal scene afterwards, so he had to smile really hard so that you couldn't see the non-whites of his eyes.
That's right.
But there you go. That's not scary, is it?
And when Star Wars came out, you hosted Saturday Night Live. What memories do you have of that? And was that the first time you met John Belushi and Dan Ackroyd?
I don't think it was the first time I met them. No, it wasn't. I'd hung out a lot, actually, with John.
Right.
And then John... Sorry, I'm eating. John set me up with Danny Ackroyd after that, and we got engaged.
Yes, that's right. That's right.
There you go.
Engaged to a blues brother. And here we are in Chicago.
And this is where he proposed to me, in a trailer, which is really, I recommend any proposals do happen in a trailer.
Okay, so that was
messed that up then.
So he proposed to you while you guys were shooting Blues Brothers. Is this your first time back to Chicago since you shot that?
I think it is.
Wow.
I'm not positive, though, because my memory, isn't that good.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it is. Certainly I spent quite a bit of time here.
Yeah.
And they actually had a blues bar here when we were shooting, which was funny. And they had Patty, the girl that sold mescaline. Patty, the mescaline girl.
The mescaline girl, sure. Like our neighborhood has a good humor man, a mailman, and a mescaline girl too. So that's Chicago.
Every
for you.
home should have one. Exactly.
In Empire, you worked with Irving Kershner. Any thoughts about him?
Well, I just heard he was ill.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
There was a function he had
what
to
did
miss
they
this
say?
weekend. That's all I heard too. was that.
Oh, God, I hope it's not. He must be getting up there now.
Yeah. He's in his late 80s at least.
just
saw him.
Is he that old?
Yeah, I
Or
think
at
so.
least
I mean,
in
we
his
just
80s.
saw him a couple years ago, and he was just as sharp as anything.
Well, I
Yes.
mean,
And-
either you get cancer or, like my dad, you get dementia. Something's got to give at that point.
Yeah.
I just hope it's not anything really serious.
Yeah, I hope everything's okay with Kirsch. And you enjoyed working with him?
He's awesome.
He's
I mean-
very into Zen and that sort of
He was
philosophy.
Yoda.
He was Yoda, wasn't he?
I'm telling you, Yoda had the biggest part in Empire, and Kirsch was Yoda. He used to do a good imitation.
Oh, really? Now, see, that's something we have to remember if we get a chance to talk to Kirsch again. But Empire was probably, most fans say that was their favorite
Mine
film.
too.
You find that was the case?
Absolutely.
And what about the prequels? What did you think about those?
I thought they were really good. I mean, the problem is, that George got compared to himself.
Yes.
when they reviewed it unfavorably. I mean, the thing is, he invented the genre. So visually, up until now, Avatar, he was the first person to ever do effects on that scale, unless, I don't know when 2001 came out. But this was certainly more accessible than 2001, let's say.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Carrie, you seem to be, in the last few years, having a lot of fun being a pop culture icon. We've seen you in Fanboys fairly recently. The Emmy-nominated turn on 30 Rock, which was
Hey, I
really
got
cool.
nominated for a Grammy.
And the Grammy for the
That's
audiobook.
hilarious to me.
Wow.
Yeah, right. Does that mean we're going to be seeing more of you?
You'll be seeing my legs next year, and you won't see my tits till like way down the line.
Oh, damn.
I did a pilot. I did a pilot with Deborah Messing,
Oh, great.
and so we'll see if that happens. And I have another book that they want me to finish yesterday, and and they're doing my show for HBO, I think. So that's a lot. Oh, and also I'm adapting The Best Awful, my last novel, for Lifetime. It's a 4-hour thing with Meg Ryan as me.
Well, that's awesome. I mean, your career is certainly vibrant. Wishful Drinking's out on stands now. Get the audiobook even. We totally recommend it. I got one last question for you. If you knew then what you know now, would you have accepted that infamous role in The Burbs with Tom Hanks?
I had the most fun shooting The Burbs of any of the films I ever did. We had a blast. So very definitely that. The film, I did this film that was supposed to be, this kind of little eclectic sci-fi film that was a great script, but it certainly misbehaved. And I guess I would have done it. I just would have been nice if they'd prepared me for it.
Well, how can anybody be prepared for that,
Exactly.
though? I mean, it
but I was
was
young
groundbreaking.
enough to take the blows, sort of. And I don't mean cocaine.
It's Wishful Drinking by Carrie Fisher, available now on the internet, at the bookstore, everywhere.
In your bathroom.
Are you still doing the stage show?
Yeah, I will be doing it. I just have to finish this other stuff, and then, we're just trying to work. I'm hopefully coming here to Chicago.
Oh, I would love to see it. I really, really want to see it. So that's Wishful Drinking. Of course, you have your website, carriefisher.com.
Do I?
Yeah.
And you're on Facebook
How's
now.
it going?
I see.
I am not on Facebook.
Well, you are on Twitter, though.
I am on Twitter, and I blog at times, but... I'm not. Someone else is saying they're me on Facebook.
Who's that girl I've been talking to?
No, you have not. I don't know who it is.
Well, you've had a nonstop line of fans all day here at C2E2. We'll let you get back to them. For me, it was a huge pleasure to talk to you. I've been wanting to talk to you for a long time. And I'm glad we finally got
I've
the
always
chance.
wanted to talk to you, too.
I heard that through the
I
grapevine.
know.
That's why we had to
now
make
my
it happen.
life is complete.
Oh,
Thank you, Carrie.
see the chemistry?
Well, not quite, so I have a reason to go on.
Nice
Thank
to meet
you, Gary.
Thank you so
All right.
much.
Rebel Voice Radio.